I know me, and I know that's a very strange statement to make, but I take pride in that. And for me, I don't necessarily think about my life during that time. And yes, there are some times that I think about life in the future, right? Planning, so to speak. But in terms of reflection, obviously by the definition of the word, it's not something that I can do in real time. It is something that I must do after the fact. And so a couple of days ago, when I was thinking about my life in my 30s and the things that I've accomplished, the things that I want to accomplish still, the things that I've let go of, and the things and the opportunities that I've lost, I found myself reflecting on my 30s. And I think that many of you guys can relate to this. Whether you're in your 20s or your 30s, or maybe even in your teens, it's not necessarily this thought of, am I living the way that I'm supposed to be living? Because that's not what I was thinking about. It was just a reflection of the life that I've lived up until now. And the choices that I've made, again, the opportunities that I've lost, the people that I've met, and situations and experiences just kind of came flooding into my brain starting from a couple of days ago. One thing led to another, and I started to kind of compare my life between my 20s and my 30s. And so, thinking about my body in terms of my 30s and my 20s, like, do I feel a lot more different? I feel like I'm a little bit stronger than I am, than I was in my 20s. As far as like consistency, so it's not so volatile, I feel like my judo has gotten a lot smarter, a lot more intelligent. But then there's other parts of my physical attributes that I've dipped. For instance, my recovery. And this is something that you guys who are in your mid-30s, now pushing 40s, 45, 50, like you feel this. And I think I'm beginning to feel this, like, oh, my recovery isn't as fast as it once was. I think those things are the key differences between my 20s and my 30s. My 20s, I just bum rushed it. My 30s is when I start to really think about, okay, what are the equations, right? What are the inputs and the outputs that I need to be aware of in order for my body to perform? But then there are other like facts of life that just is hammered home. Facts like, I know that things don't last forever. It's the way it is. I mean, God intended it for it to be, but I just I couldn't seem to accept that when I was younger. When I was in Alaska this past winter, a couple of weeks ago, my students, the team, they went up to the mountain by themselves, and when they were snowboarding. Things like that. They don't necessarily need me anymore. There are still some students who do, but they now need this like oversight. They themselves can self-regulate, and only when the self-regulation falters do I have to step in. And so I find myself grading more than I do, say, teaching. And then I find myself nitpicking at where they're faltering and where their thought process is lacking, or where they're lacking in subject matter. And then I would bring them into the office and I would teach them and go on. Before, it would be like, okay, let's do this lesson together. You see what I'm saying? Like these kinds of, okay, it's not gonna last forever. They're not always gonna need me. And I know this is strange coming from a teacher and a coach, but I spend a lot of time with my students. And when, for instance, two of my students who are in college, they go to school and they come back, and then they study here, they train here. I'm no longer in charge of their academics. They have now their professors. Same thing with the student that goes to UC San Diego. And if they need help with something, they now have their professors and their TAs and their tutors who are at school to help them with these things, no matter how capable I am. And I think that this notion is extremely important, because that's what's going to happen with all of my students. And this is like this bittersweetness, and it gives me a lot of time. And now, because this time is revealing itself to me, I'm beginning to wonder, okay, well, what's the next step? And so I find myself doing these things that require a lot of skill. Not something that I can master in a couple days, but skill. For instance, going back into study mathematics again, going back and studying philosophy again. I think the biggest difference between my 20s and my 30s is that I know a little bit more about time, and that I am on this roller coaster or this ride, and no matter how much I try to slow it down or speed it up, I can't. And so then I just embrace it. And that, I think, is the biggest thing about the 20s and my 30s, is the awareness of time. Things don't last forever, but it is not the lasting of the thing that makes it worthwhile, right? It is existence itself. Maybe this is a blessing. Maybe this is a good thing. Maybe I worked really hard for the past several years to know and to put my students through this. Okay, like we're gonna go through the ringer a little bit so that in the future, you guys can handle it. Maybe this is the blessing that I am to receive. To have this time to work on me, to be able to go back into math, to philosophy, to be able to enjoy the capable and the able body that I have, and then to stack skill set. Maybe this is my time to develop. But I'm not saying this to kind of inflate my ego. I'm saying that is what is the difference between 20s and 30s. The fact that I am aware of this, because in my 20s I would not be. So that's it, you know, for now. Maybe tomorrow it'll change, but that is for another time. I'll see you guys later. Bye.
5 nights at
Hey,
Freddy's.
did I tell you the dream that I had? No. Wow, wow, it's going crazy. So I was coaching her. It was his regular practice. So she's freaking out. Eunice, what's wrong? And she gets angry at me, like pissed off. Jason, they get pissed off. She starts crying. She's going crazy. She goes, Mr. J, I told you I can't do this anymore. Why do you keep making me do this? It's just like going off. Wow.
Sheesh.
I woke up like this.
But it was me
Whoa.
for sure.
No,
Like
it was
you
for
saw
sure.
how
It
you
was,
like.
it was you.
Like what if it was like
It was you. I remember the sweat from your fingers.
Eunice's true feelings.